Hello everyone, it's Caribbean E. Welcome to the channel. Hope everybody just having a wonderful and splendid day and everything is going great and that you are in the best of health. Today, I'm coming with another inspirational message, and it's dealing with a woman who had an issue. And I'm going to break it down for you because I'll be coming from Luke, the 8th chapter, the 43rd verse to the 48th verse. And I want to entitle this message as a push is what you need in this season that we're living in. You got to push. Let's go quickly to the word of the Lord. Luke 8:43, and it says, and I'm going to try to read it quickly so we can get to the story and get to the meat of the message. Because I truly believe that there's a message in the message of the Word of God. There's always a message for somebody. And that's why I'm still doing this, because there's a message for you, and not just for you, but for me as well. Okay, so it says in the 43rd verse, and a woman having an issue of blood 12 long years, and she had spent all her living upon physicians, neither could be healed of any of them. She spent all her money trying to get healed because she had an issue and infirmity in her body. So she came, she heard that Jesus had come by, and she came to him and she touched the border of his garment, and immediately the issue of blood was stenched. That's what she had. She had an issue of blood. She kept bleeding, and by their custom and their laws back in those days, a woman that had that type of infirmity could not be in public at all. It's almost like the COVID-19. Because if you up and around people, it can be a problem. I don't care what they say, it could be a problem until they get a vaccine or something to control this type of disaster. So in the 45th verse, and Jesus said, "Who touched me?" And when all denied, Peter and they were with him said, "Master, the multitude, the throne thee and press thee, that thou said, who touched me?" Because there were just so many people, and she had to press through a large group of people, probably a multitude, to touch the hem of his garment. Let's continue to read in the 46th verse. And Jesus said, "Somebody had touched me, for I perceive that the virtue is gone out of me." So he was trying to tell him in these red letters and red writings in my Bible, the King James Version that I use, which is Application Bible, King James Version, that's what I use. He felt something leave his spirit. He felt something, a release that somebody got breakthrough. That's what he was trying to explain to him. The 47th verse. And when the woman saw and said she was not hid, she came trembling. Okay? And when the woman saw that she was not hid, she came trembling and fell down before him. And she declared unto him before all the people for this cause that she had touched him, how she was healed immediately. What she did was gave her testimony in front of everybody, that I touched him and I was healed immediately. And the last verse, the 48th verse. And he said unto her, "Daughter, be of good comfort. Thy faith had made thee whole. Go in peace." It is amazing what faith can do if you only believe. But a lot of people don't believe it. And it's just a short, sweet story. One of the hundreds of miracles that Jesus did back in his day when he passed through certain towns and certain cities. Now, this story is a powerful story because, first of all, I see some things in this woman and in this story. First of all, she had to determine in her mind that she was going to leave the place that she was at and try to find a real physician. And his name was Jesus. A lot of people go to doctors in the season that we're living in and they can't get healed. Just like right now, they're trying different vaccines to see what's going to work better. And everybody, it's a race for the vaccine. That's what it is now in the season that we live in. There's a race for the vaccine. But in these days, Jesus had demonstrated and proved that he was the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. He was the Son of God. And that even if you came near him and touched his garment, something great was going to happen in your life. So, and I love this story. I'm so excited about it. I'm so excited about this story. And every time I get a chance to share it, I get more excited. Okay, so this female had an issue of blood. She had a problem that she kept bleeding. She never stopped. It's just like a woman having a cycle. Never stopped, just kept on bleeding. But she was determined to push through the crowd. This is the part I want you to see. Because if you're going to get anywhere in life, you got to push through something. You got to push through a divorce. You got to push through your haters. You got to push through your procrastinators. You got to push through your doubters. Because for the most part, and I always try to go from natural to spiritual, for the most part, spiritually, there's always forces pushing against you before you get your breakthrough. You're not the only one that's fighting and trying to touch Jesus' garment. You're not the only one that's pushing through crowds. It could be your family. It could be people in your neighborhood. It could be people that you work with. But there's going to be a push if you ever expect breakthrough of whatever you're praying and asking God for. There's going to have to be a push. That means you got to get through some stuff. You got to push through some people. You got to push through your haters. You got to step on their feet and step on their toes until you get through the healer. Until you get through to the healer. I ain't done yet, but I felt like I already done preached already. But she was determined to push like never before to get a healing from God. Now she had went through all the doctors and nobody could do. She had spent her money and nobody could do anything for her. But she heard about this man named Jesus. Wow, this is so powerful, man. This is so powerful. So the objective is I want you to see that one must push through everything also that have affected your past. Could have been a bad childhood, could have been a bad marriage, it could have been a bad investment, could have been a bad job where you had haters all around you like I had. Okay? You got to push through everything that have affected even a negativity that people spoke on your life. You got to push through all of that. Of course, you're not perfect. There was some of the stuff that you did that was probably self-inflicted and you didn't do the right thing, but God forgives you. So now you're on to a new start. So now you got to get into the push. You can't stay there. You can't lay there. You can't lay there and bleed to death because that's what the devil wants. He wants you to stay there in that spot of do nothing. And I'm here to encourage you today that you've got to do something. Because doing nothing means nothing. Because nothing from nothing leaves nothing. So, one must push through everything that have affected your past. The abuse. And I could name a lot of things. From your childhood to where you are right now. So let me share this with you also. A setback, and this is another wisdom nugget, a setback is an opportunity for a comeback. Are you listening to me? Your setback is an opportunity for your comeback. Females that have babies, you notice something that they've got to push. And they got to push hard before the baby can be delivered. They say it's one of the most painful and deadliest pains that a woman can experience in her life. Now, I'm glad God made me a man, 'cause I can't take that kind of pain. I've been dead a long time ago. But a woman has to prepare herself for birth, for delivery of that child. She can't sit there forever, because when 9 months come, it's time for something to happen. And perhaps God is trying to tell you today in your life, it's time for something to happen. It's time for you to do something different out of the norm. It's time for you to stop sitting there and saying coulda, shoulda, woulda, when you should get up and take that window of opportunity and let God do things for you like that never been done before in your life. I know I'm speaking to somebody. I know I'm speaking to somebody. Let me give you another nugget of wisdom, of truth. There is no breakthrough until birth comes. A woman can push and scream all she wants, but there is no breakthrough until that child is delivered, that child is smacked on the hind parts, or smacked on the butt, and it yells and it cries its first cry. It makes its first sound. That's a beautiful moment for a woman that's been carrying this child for so long, in the heat, in the cold, having different symptoms, different mood changes, swelling of the ankles, swelling of the face, transformation of her body. All this to deliver this child. So, in my conclusion, any type of comeback calls for a push. Even in this COVID-19 season of change. There will not be a fast cure or vaccine. You got to wait until your change comes before you can get your healing. But in the meantime, like I always said, between the time, you got to push. Because your doubters are sitting there waiting for you to die. Some of your closest friends that you think your friends got a knife in your back probably right now. And they have that knife in your back for many years. Could be some family members. Could be some kinfolk. Some folk that you work with. Some folk that's in your neighborhood. Some folk that's actually in the same cubicle. They don't want to see you with a promotion. They don't want to see you blessed. You that went through a divorce, they don't want to see you with a new wife. Somebody that got some sense. Somebody that you can deal with. And whenever I think about a divorce, don't forget, there's always two sides to a story. But you got some crazy men and you got some crazy women. But that's behind us now. We're moving forward. And we got to get through all this stuff before we can touch the hem of Jesus' garment so we can be made whole. That's what this message is all about. Pressing through, pushing through with all your might. Now, this story involved a female, but you know what? I don't believe it was just for a female. I believe it was for every mankind, boy, girl, woman, whoever it may be, that's wrestling with something, that's trying to get somewhere, that's been held back too long. And you told yourself, enough is enough. I watched a story one time with a movie with J-Lo. J-Lo was in an abusive marriage. Some of you might have seen this movie before. And she got tired of being slapped and kicked and knocked to the floor. She kept trying to take her one child and take that little girl, move to a different city. But the aggressive, crazy husband kept following her. And I know I'm saying even this for a reason, because we have a lot of domestic violence happening right now because everybody's on lockdown. So everything that was on the bottom is coming to the surface. You see how things come around? So in this movie, J-Lo said to herself, enough is enough. Just like this woman that had the issue of blood. Enough is enough. And she began to train. And she began to fight and do some strategic training and skillful thinking till she was able to conquer her biggest enemy, which was her crazy husband. It's the same thing that happened with David and Goliath. Because the only thing Goliath could see is David's size and structure. That's all he can see. How dare you send a boy out to do a man's job? But one thing about God, dynamite comes in small packages when it comes to God. You better believe that. It comes in small packages. Because God is already prepared for the battle. We just got to trust him. And we can't rely on other people's conversations, because sometimes that'll get into your head and cause you to make the wrong move. Because even in this story with David and Goliath, David's peeps was bringing him all kinds of big armor and this heavy stuff. He couldn't even stand up straight. Only thing God needed him to use was a slingshot and a stone. What I'm trying to say to you, my brothers and sisters, you can't break through the crowd is because you carry too much stuff. You're too heavy. You're too weighted down. You listen to the wrong advice. And you got to break through from that. Drop that stuff off. Drop that ball and chain. And begin to push through the crowd. And get your healing. So, this is a very, very powerful story. I wanted you to see that there's some people that are waiting for some of you to fall and die and never give up. Some of you been through some tragic stuff in your past where your enemies or your family members or whoever it may be left you in the middle of the road to die. They left you there so the vultures can come and eat up your flesh. But I'm here to tell you today that God said, get up and shake the dust off and begin to push through all those haters. Because the way I look at it, my haters are my motivators. That's what I tell them. My haters are my motivators. I got a few on the channel, but that's all right too, because I'm on my way somewhere and I'm steady pushing. But the closer I get to God, the better I feel. So just want to share that story with you, and I hope you can take it with you. But like I said, push. It's time to push. Don't talking, don't think about it, don't analyze about it. Just get out there and just push. Because when this economy begins to get back in order, you got to push through some stuff. That job, that company that you used to work for might not be there. But God said, keep pushing. Because faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. Hebrews 11:1. And that woman was not healed, but she said, if I can just touch the hem of his garment in Luke 8:43 and 48, if I can just touch the hem of his garment, I believe I can be made whole. And it was such a awesome moment that Jesus felt something happening, something take place, even in his own body, his own virtue. So I want you guys to get this story, because some of you are bleeding right now and you're just sitting there on the couch, sitting on a chair, and you're not doing nothing to make your life better. And I'm here to encourage you and tell you today, you need to get up and begin to push through all of your struggles, all of your troubles, and get to where your blessing is. And your blessing is Jesus. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son. Who shall believe in him shall not perish, but shall have everlasting life. The easiest scripture to remember, John 3:16. So, in the meantime, between the time, always remember, life to be enjoyed, hit that scripture notification, and guess what? We'll see you on the next video. And remember, always, keep pushing until you get your breakthrough. Peace.
And here are some charities listed, local, in case you'd like to donate, because we always get asked where people can donate locally. Thank you.